Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our Brooks Thompson podcast at GoUTSA.com. I'm Andy Everett along with Brooks Thompson. The Roadrunners have Florida International and Florida Atlantic this week, but Brooks, you're coming off a big win against UTEP and a come-from-behind win. You were 15 down in the second half, and nobody gave up.
Well, it's a great win for us. There's no doubt about that, and hopefully we can keep confident and keep and learn from what we did. And we played very well, and our guys are starting to learn, and they're starting to get better with the inexperience, and they're understanding what it takes to win at this level. And, hopefully we can keep going. We've had 2 great days of practice, and, hopefully we'll lead that into FIU.
Well, I want to go all the way back to the UAB game because even though it was a big a game that you lost by 20, there was moments in that game where you had a chance to really cut into the lead and missed a shot here, missed there. But we talked about in our post-game show how well the team played. You carried that over to Middle Tennessee. And then Dan told us last week how good practice has been leading into the UTEP game.
Well, we're excited. These kids they're great kids, and they've got great character, and they're wanting to win, and they're wanting to do everything. And our record is not indicative of what kind of team we have, and hopefully we can just learn how to win. And I think winning that UTEP game is really going to teach our guys a great lesson.
What you take about some of the players in that game? I want to talk about Nick Allen. You didn't play him in the first half. You played him in the second half. He was terrific. Well,
they're always ready, and that shows the character of our basketball team, because some guys would just pout and be like, hey, coach isn't playing me, what's going on? But in the second half, he came out and played really well. We took him out of the starting lineup, and he didn't pout. He just started working harder and harder and harder, and I think that's really indicative of what our team is and what we are as a team.
And A.J. Cockrell, some big boards and some big putbacks down the stretch against UTEP.
Played very well, no doubt about it. He played very well, and, he's just a freshman getting better and better. And, you look at what Lucas O'Brien's doing right now. I never would have thought he would be doing the things that he's doing, and he's playing great. So I like where we're going right now.
That pick and roll with Christian and Lucas is really getting honed down and working well for you.
Well, Christian's doing a great job, too. He's playing well, and he's playing a lot of minutes, obviously, with Gino being out, being injured. But Christian's doing a great job, and we're going to try to put all our guys in a position to be successful on the floor. And that's happening right now, and they're understanding and they're learning, and they get better every day, and that's what's exciting as a coach.
We got the Florida schools coming to town this week. Florida International's got one of the top players in the league, and Adrian Diaz, their center, and we've seen him in the past. He's a handful, isn't he?
He's pretty good. There's no doubt about it, and just got done talking about Lucas. He's going to have his hands full, and Lucas is going to have to step up to the challenge, as well as AJ, what we were talking about. So Diaz, he's a great player, and we're just going to have to do what we can do to win.
I know it's been 8 or 9 months ago, but do you look back on losing to a team like Florida International the way that the Roadrunners did in that game in the tournament and go, hey, we owe you one?
I was on the phone this morning, really hurting by that, and talking to somebody about how that shot went in, because I felt like we played pretty well, and I thought Florida International played well, and I thought Keon Lewis guarded it the way that we needed to guard it, because earlier in Southern Utah had beat us at a buzzer with a buzzer beater, and we didn't guard it very well, but I thought we guarded that very well in the conference tournament. So, we don't talk about it with the team, but it hurts. There's no doubt about that, and you got to make sure that that you guard it and do what's right, and we'll make sure the team's prepared.
Yeah, as a player, you played for years before you coached. When you lose a game like that, is it I can't wait to play them again so we can kind of change things around, or do you just have to forget it and move on?
You have to forget it, but you're never going to forget it. There's no doubt about that. So, as a player and a coach, you don't forget it. You want revenge. There's no doubt about it. And the way that you lost, you have to understand that, and our players understand that. But it was I don't want to say a fluke deal, but it was something that happens in all sports, and we're going to be ready for Thursday.
Well, as a broadcaster, I'm going to refer to it as well on Thursday night. Let's talk about the way that this team's playing. Winning breeds confidence. Winning breeds excitement. Practice is better. Everybody's got a smile on their face, and that's really something to look forward to as you move forward in the league.
Well, all coaches always say that when you get into league play, it's a second season, and we've really been hitting on that. And since Conference USA started, we've been playing really well, and we just got to make sure that we understand how to finish games and do what we can to finish games, to execute and stay solid and do what it takes to win.
Keep on winning. Winning's fun.
I love it.
All right, that's Brooks Thompson with us on our GoUTSA.com podcast. The Roadrunners take on Florida International on Thursday, Florida Atlantic on Saturday. Air times are 6:30 and 1:30 on Ticket 760. Good day, everyone, and welcome to our podcast on GoUTSA.com. We get a chance to visit with Lucas O'Brien, and You guys are turning things around a little bit. Dan told me last week on one of our radio pregame shows how well practice was going. You turned that around with a big win against UTEP.
Yeah, practice has been awesome. Coaches have been in our ear every day, just saying keep working, keep following the process, and it's finally showing up.
Let's go back to some of those road games. That UAB trip, it was a 20-point game, but it was a much closer game than that, except for a couple of spurts here and there and a couple of missed shots. And you carried that over to Middle Tennessee and really played well there and just came up a little bit short. And then finally it paid off with the UTEP win. Talk about that progress, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you were watching the games. I felt every game, starting at UAB and ending at UTEP, we got better. That UAB game, we had some slip-ups, obviously. And the Middle Tennessee game, I felt like we let slip. And then the UTEP game, I just felt like we just played a complete game. Offense, defense, our bench was live. Everything was going really well. I thought that was probably our most complete game we've ever played this season.
And you came from 15 down, so there was no give up there in the second half.
No, I thought that was great. I think some of our younger guys are showing some more experience, and I think we're just really showing that we can mesh as a team.
All right, let's talk about Christian having to play so many minutes with Gino's absence right now and what he brings to this team. Just the athleticism is pretty amazing.
I mean, his energy is intense. It's crazy. I don't think we really need to worry about him in minutes. The kid can run hours. If you come and watch our practice, our conditioning, he just walks through it. I don't think that's ever going to be a worry with me, at least, him playing too many minutes, because the guy's a workhorse. He's working 24/7.
And the pick and roll right now is as good as it's been maybe in years. Just talking, and especially with you. And you got a dunk in the Middle Tennessee game and 2 or 3 quick baskets under the goal, and you carried that over to UTEP. Talk about that play.
I mean, like you said, the pick and roll game's been awesome. I'll give most of the credit to Christian. They're all passes that are getting to me. He's making it pretty easy for me.
But you got to have your hands up and your eyes open, don't you?
Oh, you have to be ready for Christian. I remember when he first came here, his freshman year, it took us a while to get used to his passes just because he's so quick with it. You don't really think there's an open pass, and then he gets it to you. You really have to be ready.
He sees things and has the ability to thread the needle as well as anyone.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that you always have to be ready.
All right, on the defensive end, you're having to battle with some guys that are bigger than you are, not only in height but in weight. Talk about that battle, and I know it's frustrating sometimes because you're getting pushed around and you don't often get the calls.
I mean, yeah, that's just how it's going to be sometimes. I feel like our game plans are to help me out on the backside. We're fronting the post a lot, so it kind of makes it easier to have that help side, knowing you have someone having your back. But I think every game we're going to keep getting better with post D and keep working.
And you got your hands full Thursday night this week with Adrian Diaz from Florida International. He may be as good as any of them.
Yeah. I was just on the phone a couple days ago with Kai. He was giving me some pointers on him because I know he had a pretty decent game against him. But we'll be ready. I mean, we've had a couple days to prepare, and I think we'll be okay.
All right, Florida International ended your season last year with a half-court shot in the tournament with the clock running down. I know the situation's different. It's been 8 months, but does that still kind of linger back in your mind as we owe them one?
Oh, yeah, it stinks, especially since I was in a cast on the bench. I was just sitting there, not really anything I could do to help out. But, yeah, that one definitely still stings.
All right, the rest of the season looks so much brighter now. That's what a win does for you, doesn't it? All of a sudden it breeds confidence.
I mean, our morale is just up above the roof right now. It's awesome. Everyone's feeling real good. We have confidence. We know what we can do. If we can beat teams like UTEP, we know we have some chances coming up in the next couple of weeks.
And especially too, if other teams start taking you for granted. Oh, they're UTSA. They've only got 4 wins. Well, watch out. Here's what we can do.
And I think that's kind of what happened in the beginning of the last couple games. They're like, oh, we haven't had much. I mean, we didn't really deserve much of a. Like, they didn't really think of anything of us just because of our record prior to this, but I think teams are going to finally have to give us a little bit of a reputation.
Everything's better when you're winning, right?
Definitely. Everything's better.
All right, that's Lucas O'Brien with us on our GoUTSA.com podcast. The Roadrunners take on Florida International and Florida Atlantic this week, Thursday and Saturday, 6:30 and 1:30 are air times on Ticket 760.